A personality who changed the world, who worked contrary to the rules of the entire earth, and whose life's goal was nothing more than relaxation, thinking about how to take a long nap. Instead of thinking about what and how to do something, he considered it more important to think about how not to do it. He believed that human intelligence didn't have much value. What mattered more to him was how to relax and sleep. From the beginning of creation, nature has been providing us with food, and it will continue to do so in the future. When you reject human intelligence, science, and civilization, what remains is natural agriculture. What you've heard is absolutely correct. Such a lazy farmer, with his philosophy of laziness, revolutionized agriculture. He is considered one of the legendary figures in the history of global agriculture. This is the story of Masanobu Fukuoka, a Japanese farmer and philosopher. Masanobu Fukuoka was born on February 2, 1913, in the small town of Yo on Shikoku Island, Japan. As a student, he was quite mediocre and inattentive, with no interest in classroom lectures. He was only captivated by literature classes. His literature teacher once said, "Choose 5 friends who will mourn your death deeply." These philosophical thoughts fascinated and made him reflect deeply. After high school in Gifu, Fukuoka's father sent him to Gifu Agricultural College to pursue further studies in agriculture. There, he specialized in plant pathology and earned a degree. Later, Fukuoka worked as a plant inspection officer at Yokohama Customs. However, during this period, he was struck by severe pneumonia. As part of his treatment, he was placed in a cold, desolate room, completely isolated from friends, and even the nurses fled due to the poor conditions. At the age of 25, Fukuoka was in a critical state, struggling with the uncertainty of life. After some time, he recovered physically, but his mind was deeply scarred. He constantly contemplated the meaninglessness of life and the futility of human efforts. One evening, on his way home from the office, he stood on the edge of a mountain ravine, wondering, what would happen if I jumped from here? What's the point of living? He fell asleep there amidst these thoughts. The next morning, he awoke to the call of a crane and had an epiphany. He realized that nothing in this world truly matters, and there is no need to worry about life. Everything is part of nature, which operates on its own terms. There is no need to force anything into shape. The following day, Fukuoka quit his job and began wandering aimlessly. He interacted with people, trying to convince them that everything in the world is meaningless. The people thought he was just another madman. Eventually, he returned to Yo, where he built a small hut on the mountain and began living a life of idleness. Due to the socio-economic pressures of Japan's involvement in World War II and the need to uphold his father's social status, Fukuoka accepted a job offer and joined the Kochi Agricultural Research Center in the Pest and Disease Control Department. Here, he worked on increasing food production through new techniques and wrote about his efforts in local newspapers. In one of his research projects, he applied 2 different farming methods to 2 plots of land. In one, he used scientific methods like weeding, pesticide application, and plowing, while in the other, he did nothing but scatter seeds. As a result, both fields produced almost identical yields, but the scientific method yielded slightly more, though the production costs did not justify the outcome. From this, Fukuoka learned that doing nothing could actually be the best farming method, as forcing nature could decrease its fertility. After the war, Japan faced devastation, and many farmers lost their land. Fukuoka's family lost 4/5 of their land, but their mountain fruit orchard remained intact. He resumed his do-nothing agriculture there. Fukuoka had learned that once a field is plowed, it is no longer natural. He worked to create an environment where agriculture could occur naturally. His agricultural philosophy included the following key points. 1. The earth cultivates itself, and plowing decreases soil fertility. 2. Chemical fertilizers reduce the soil's fertility. 3. Weeds don't need to be completely eradicated, laying down straw allows new seedlings to grow without disturbing them. 4. Pesticides are unnecessary because they harm the soil. Fukuoka succeeded with his method of scattering seeds. He mixed clay and medicinal seeds with the fruit seeds to form small balls, which he then scattered over the soil. Similarly, he spread straw on rice and wheat fields without weeding them and began to see results. He believed that it might take 5 to 10 years for the land to adapt, but once it did, the plants would thrive for a long time. In 1975, Fukuoka published his famous book One Straw Revolution, which summarized his agricultural philosophy and methods. In it, he discussed the power of natural straw and the revolutionary potential it held. The English translation of the book was published in 1978, and slowly, his methods gained worldwide recognition. Fukuoka had a significant impact, especially in Japan, where people began to visit him from far and wide to learn about his agricultural methods. He was invited to seminars internationally, traveling to places like America, Europe, Somalia, Ethiopia, Thailand, the Philippines, and Kolkata, where he spread his philosophy. He also worked on growing crops in deserts and wrote a book titled Sowing Seeds in the Desert. His work in this area was also controversial. In 1988, Fukuoka received the Ramon Magsaysay Award. He fell ill in 2006 and passed away in 2008, becoming one with nature. His farm on Shikoku Island is still managed by his children, continuing the natural practices he established. Masanobu Fukuoka's life taught us that by aligning with nature, the greatest revolution can be achieved not by doing more, but by doing less. It's not laziness, it's a deeply natural revolution.